Ladies and gentlemen, the best podcast in the world, the Cowboys Collective. You guys only see three of us on the screen. Sky had to handle some personal business. We are wishing him the best. He will be back for the next episode. John Machota, Law Nation. How we doing today, fellas?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. It's beautiful to be here, and can't wait to see what we can do on week 2.
Hey, what episode are we on, John? We 56, right?
I think we might be 57.
Brady James? We're not Brady James? I was waiting for 56. Let's see what chat box knows.
I'm gonna go 56. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. We go 56.
episode
57 because Hollywood was no. You're right. You're right. 56. You're right, John. You're right. Episode 56. Brady James.
We will be here for the next hour. Talking Cowboys. We got a bunch of stuff planned for you guys. Oh wow, we got somebody in here from Sydney, Australia. Much love to you all. It feels like before we get to the slate and before we get to our regular run of show, then it felt like we played like 2 years ago, guys.
It does.
Yeah, it feels like we played a long time ago. I mean,
yeah,
game feels like it was a long ways away. You had an exciting slate of NFL football, John. I mean, I've been waiting to get John on to talk about his boy Ben Johnson, and
maybe he should have stayed right where he was at.
Caleb doesn't help him much. John, I was thinking about John the whole time. I was like, man, Ben can script the first 15, and everything else, Caleb is on you. And it got kind of rough there, and they obviously lost. But just a great NFL. Like, can you guys remember a better start to the season as far as action? Sunday night football was good. Monday was really good. It was good football. Thursday game was good.
This is probably one of the tops here, man. You got storylines after storyline, especially if you do what like John do and you work for the Bills. If you're in that Bills area, the Bills beat reporter, they got a lot to write.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Especially coming back with 41. You got the MVP, the two MVPs back-to-back going against each other. The game come down to the last seconds. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess it all depends, though, on what you want to talk about. Because if you want to talk about and write about just winning and like having a chance to win a Super Bowl, then yeah, for sure with the Bills. But I still, when I look across the league, I don't put anybody higher than the Cowboys in terms of things to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their first game, their most important player gets spit on before they even play a play. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many storylines with the Cowboys. Like it's never really dull. So yeah, if you want to talk about like covering a team, like I don't know how Josh Allen gets through his career without winning at least one Super Bowl,
Yeah, so that was amazing, John.
Or the return of Rodgers, man, to the Jets. That was crazy.
More touchdowns.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as confident about him going forward as I am Josh Allen, but yeah, that was nice for Aaron. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this: there's been a lot that's come out of Cowboy land. So we got John Machota here. You guys know that he kind of takes on the first block. Now, John, when I tell you there's been a lot that I've kind of read into the tea leaves. Obviously, people want to talk about Jaden Blue. They want to talk about, why didn't he play? That was one of the biggest things that came out of Shotty's interview, his last at bat at the podium. So, John, take it away. What's going on, boots in the ground in Dallas, sir?
Yeah, I'd say Jaden Blue and Mazi Smith, it's similar with both. And maybe this will just be, hey, we're still technically on the early part of Brian Schottenheimer's time as a head coach. So maybe the word inconsistency will be used anytime a notable player isn't active, because that's what he is. He's kind of stuck with, whether it be Mazi Smith, talking about him playing in the preseason, or you talk about him not playing in the opener and being active, and Jaden Blue. With Jaden Blue, he straight up said, he goes, you have to earn your chance to get out there. Right. There has to be consistency. And so obviously he has to show that in practice. And how are we going to be able to, we're not going to be able to say anything about that because we don't get to watch that part of practice that's going to be deciding that anyway. Yeah. So, and it's the same with Mazi. And judging by Jerry Jones this morning on the radio, doesn't sound like the plan is changing with Mazi. Perrion Winfrey is getting moved to the IR with his back issue. And so he's going to be out at least the next 4 weeks. And that came out on Monday. And on Tuesday, Jerry's on the radio talking about how, I mean, if you read in between the lines, he's basically saying that he doesn't see any change of plans with Mazi there.
Right.
So that's pretty telling. The only other thing I was going to add is that we already talked about, I mentioned the whole spitting thing, that Jalen Carter's not going to get an additional game suspension. They're treating that as a game suspension, but he's getting fined $57,000, which is a game check. So that'll probably be something to deter from that in the future. But I don't know why anything else other than the season opener and the first play wouldn't deter you from doing something like that. But that's for their team to worry about. I would say the only other thing that I had for you news-wise is that the team came out of that game pretty healthy. Lee Booker is the only one outside of Winfrey that didn't practice on Monday. And so he's dealing with a little bit of a toe issue, but I don't think it's anything that would keep him out of the game on Sunday. So as long as they don't have any setbacks in practice, they should have a pretty healthy team going into this game. And I mean, I'm just looking forward to talking about the game with you guys because there's just so many aspects of it. We haven't had a chance to do that yet. So yeah, there's a ton to talk about in there because I mean, it's the most we've gotten to see of actually what matters, you know, since we even started doing this show. So I had a ton of takeaways from the game, and I know you guys did too. So take it whatever direction you guys want.
Let's I put a pin in something real quick, John, because yes, we are definitely going to I want, like I said, I talked to you guys pre-show. I said I want long-winded answers on the offense and the defense. Because like you said, John, this is the inaugural Brian Schottenheimer regime. Yeah. And I have thoughts, high level, and I know you do as well, John. I've read your pieces, Law. I've watched you, but as a collective, it'll be good to talk about it. I want to talk about Jaden Blue for a second. So there's this knee-jerk reaction in Cowboys world, right, John, where it's like Miles Sanders gets hawked down, and we're spoiling a little bit of the game, right? Miles Sanders gets hawked down. Miles Sanders has the fumble. Oh, my God. If that was Jaden Blue, it wouldn't have happened. And I get that. In hindsight can be 2020. But John, do you guys think, this is just me, is it him not picking up the playbook or is it him not being able to handle pass pro? Because I'm going to tell you now, yeah, we want to see long runs, but you also want to see your quarterback upright. What do you think about that, John or Law?
Well, I was going to say, yeah, I was hard on not Jadon Blue, but Miles Sanders in that game. But he did do some crucial pass pro combination blocks, stepping in, helping out Dak in those particular angles. But when Coach said consistency, I'm not privy to watching practice. And who was more consistent to me during the time that I was there in Oxnard, I thought I saw a lot of Jadon Blue, right? But we don't know what's going on between the books or the playbooks or those things. So to a degree, if there's a rookie out there, we can accept those things that Miles Sanders did as far as getting hogged down and fumbling the ball, right? That's something that a rookie can do. And it's not like we saw a change of pace between Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. So that's why I was leaning more towards saying, hey, if Miles Sanders is going to F it up, go ahead and just put the rookie out there. That's my thoughts of it. You know,
good point.
And that's my case on it. But John, what do you have on that one?
Yeah, I think with it being the first game, you go with Miles Sanders because he's the veteran and he's going to know what to do, even if he's not the Miles Sanders of a couple of years ago when he had a great season for the Eagles. So that Miles Sanders does not get caught from behind. That's for sure. Yeah. So I think that's the thing, that I don't think it's a one thing. It could be some playbook stuff. It could be just things in practice that he's not running correctly. But to not even have him active really seemed like it was like, we're also going to send a message here too, that like, you got to be on your stuff or you're not even going to be active. And for a running back on this Cowboys team, I mean, that has aspirations of putting up numbers, you got to at least be active in the first game. I mean, it's not like it's not like you're buried on this depth chart of just, oh, there's so much talent. How can you make this roster? How can you get out on the field? So that was, out of all the inactives, that one was the most eye-opening to me, even more than Mazi Smith, just because, after the Kenny Clark trade, I mean, Mazi Smith drops on the depth chart. So, but Jaden Blue, I thought there would have been opportunities for him in the game, but if he doesn't know exactly what he's doing on every play, you can't risk putting him out there, and certainly not in a road game and in that environment, first game of the season. So I think all of that stuff factored in, but it's going to be one that's really going to be interesting to monitor going forward, because you can tell, like, I mean, hey, I'm not going to completely hate on Miles Sanders. That's the longest run the Cowboys have had in over a year. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
They didn't have anything like that. Like I had to double check why he was running up the sideline. I was like, wait, is that the Cowboys with a big run like that? Like it was just, they haven't, I thought last year, I think their longest run was like 27, 28 yards. That was almost 50.
No,
so
I don't think they had a run over 15. I don't think they had a run over 15 yards. That was the Rico Dowdle stat. I don't think they had a run over, maybe one run over 15. But continue, John. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because, you know, I mean, like the offensive line, I thought it was better than I was expecting. And so there were some running lanes and there was some creativity to the run game. And so that's why when I see that, I'm kind of like, man, it would have been nice to see, you know, Jaden Blue get, 4 or 5 touches in there and just see what he could do. Maybe he hits a home run. But then again, maybe he fumbles too, like Miles Sanders did. So not really sure there. But I think what we saw from Javonte Williams helps a little bit.
Oh, we're going to talk about
you
that.
Feel good about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to if he runs poorly, Miles Sanders has the fumble, gets caught from behind, and then you're sitting there just like, there's not even anybody here that you can really trust. Why not just throw Jaden Blue out there? Yeah. Where I don't think they feel that way,
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. And last news nugget, I think this is important. I didn't want to just gloss over this. John, I kind of tweeted this out, and I said this in my post game. I don't see how Mazi Smith gets on the field because I think a big thing that's being missed is, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys went with Jay Toia over Mazi Smith. Yeah. And not only did they go with him, Law, and we're going to dive into the actual game. He played reps and played well in the reps that I saw. Yeah. Now, it wasn't amazing. I mean, we know Kenny Clark and Osa. Woo, I love that group. But Jay Toia was a rotational player, John, and they trusted him, and he played well, and he was physical, and that was against a good offensive line. So I don't know where or how Mazi plays. So what do you guys say to that, Law? Like, I mean, at this point, it's past the Cowboys fan base arguing. It's past I think it's now to the point, are we going to try to move him? What do you guys say to that?
I think that you try to probably make a basketball type of trade. You package Mazi. You can't trade him by himself because he's not worth the grain of salt.
Yeah.
$6 or $7 million is a lot of money. The Cowboys not willing to cut either because you never know when you need to go circle back. But even circling back, I think that his skill set is not what the Cowboys are looking for. And remember, one of the things that Schottenheimer said is competing and competition and being consistent. That is one of the things that shoots Mazi down as well, because he's not a high energy guy. He's not a happy-go-lucky guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. So you don't really know whether or not he's improving, especially when you're going up against practice. So yes, these other guys going to show up a little bit more. So I'm looking for the Cowboys, looking for someone to package him, maybe a player plus a player. Maybe it's Tolbert and Mazi to trade off. I'm not saying that they got Tolbert on the trading blocks, but that'll be the only way that you can move on from him, because I don't see him gaining any more respect from this team when you put a 7th round draft pick over him and he's so far down the draft, so far down the lineup there that he's a healthy scratch. It'll be a different story. He had a lingering injury, but by him being a healthy scratch speaks volumes of his skill set.
And the other thing for me is that there's been multiple defensive coordinators, multiple coaching staffs, and there at no point has he looked like, oh, well, if you just use him in this way, you're going to have some success. So I don't know, man. I just, again, I guess going off of that, they just played the Eagles. This is just such an obvious move that the Eagles would have moved on from. Like, I'm sorry, but this guy would not be on the team. Like, so it is what it is. Schottenheimer, it seems like he's trying to make the best of the situation, but it's like, if you can't get on the field and play defensive tackle for this team, I mean, and I'm not saying start, but at least get 10, 15 snaps, be active on Sundays. I mean, that says a lot. I don't know. I don't understand how any other team would be interested right now, unless like he's cut and then you get like, the team I always think of is the Chargers, just because Jim Harbaugh obviously had success with Mazi at Michigan. So maybe he thinks that he can get something out of him, but I don't understand why any team would give up anything right now.
Yeah. I think Toxic had a good point, and mentally I just don't know if he's in the football, John, because I mean, you just see a guy like Jay Toia come in, throw his body around. You see obviously what Kenny Clark was able to do. and how physical he played.
It's
and
tough,
looked.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but like my actions speak louder than my words. My life is watching football. My life is football, whether I'm working or I'm not. Like my life is football.
I'm the
And I know
same way,
you guys
John.
are same way. And a lot of people that are on in the chat right now watching this are the same way. You know, this is not a 9 to 5 that you just,
Right.
I got to go and got to wake up again and go to this. It just like, it's just so hard for me to wrap my head around not loving it. I mean, but I guess everybody's different. So it is what
John,
it is.
when I tell you, man, that was a great piece because like you said, I just came from youth football practice and we talk about it here and I don't get tired of it. I don't get tired of
Everybody
talking
needs
football.
to work a 9 to 5 that they absolutely hate and makes you appreciate everything a lot more. A lot
Bro,
more.
I'll be honest. Getting paid to do this, nothing but God. And I'm thankful.
yeah.
I'm thankful for the chat box. Thankful for John Machado. I'm thankful because you guys, I'm thankful for Law Nation. Like, so I'm with you. And the truth of the matter is, I think people, and you know this, I think people will be surprised how many players actually don't love the game.
Yeah.
Like they're just good at it. They're big, they're good athletes. I even, I don't want to open up a Pandora's box, but I even tweeted like, hey guys, it's not that serious with the mic and stuff. And they killed me on Twitter. I said, okay, I won't even mention his name anymore. That was
16 minutes.
Oh yeah, they did. I know. 17. Okay, here we go.
17 minutes. But no, before you go, let me put some cover over it because I know Mama Mazi is watching. Mama Mazi is no offense to your son, but
No.
we just talking the way that we see it, right? And he may somehow fall to another team and the system work for him. But for right now, this system, I don't see where you can place Mazi yet. And we all like Mazi, but unfortunately, we like to win more.
To put context on it, I mean, I don't know if Mazi's mom is watching. I mean, I'm sure she might be. Okay, so she's watching. Listen, Mama Mazi, I say this. It's our job to, speak on what we see on the field. This isn't me personally, anybody tell you, I wanted Mazi to be great, but unfortunately it just hasn't worked out. And Brian said this much when he starts talking, like you said, consistency and all that. That's code word. That's code word for not getting it done. And I honestly appreciate Brian saying that, not talking around it.
Right.
I appreciate it with Jaden Blue because. Now let's transition to, John, our high-level offensive and defensive recaps. And I want it because I have my thoughts. And I guess I'll do this. I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be super long-winded, and I want you guys to be as well. Because like you said, we haven't been able to talk about the game. Number one, John Machado. Brian Schottenheimer had this team ready to play football. For them to go down on their first drive of the NFL season in Philly, hostile environment, they just won a Super Bowl and score points. Green check. Green check, John. For them to play as physical as they did, green check. And we're talking about the offense now. For Javonte Williams to run hard and run behind his pads and the O-line to be ready. We had a football team that looked prepared, John. My biggest takeaway offensively, this is a playoff team. I know CeeDee Lamb had the drops. I know we didn't get George Pickens the targets that we may have wanted to. I think that some of that is the early first game finding the rhythm. My number two takeaway from the offense, 4 looks good. John, we talked about his body. We talked about his facial structure, how he's lost weight. His legs look spry. I'm praying that he can keep this up. He said he's been eating better. He said he's attacked running more. You can tell, John, he had pop. He had creativity. He threw the ball well. He threw the ball sharp. Number 3, John, this young offensive line looks like it might be something. It looks like it might be something. The scheme behind it looks like it might be something. Number 4 for me, guys, Javonte Williams. I think he embodies what this team wants to be now. He's never going to run away from you, but he's going to run at you. He's going to be a bowling ball. And I think, you want that juice at some point defensively. Let's flip to the deep. And guys, we're designed to be, because everybody's going to go around, so I'm being long-winded here. I didn't think the defense was as bad as people made it out to be early. And in the second half, they really clamped. And just to be honest with you guys, Kenny Clark is a bad man. Now, you're not going to see it in the box score, Law. Never.
Right.
You're never going to see it in the box score. But the way they can funnel the rush, guys, because, I mean, you hold Saquon Barkley to 3 yards of carry. That's tangible and that's real and that carries. So those are my thoughts. You guys let me know.
Real quick before you go, does my mic sound okay? I accidentally unplugged.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, you sound great.
Oh, you want me to go?
So yeah, John,
You
give
go,
me your
go,
thoughts.
John.
Yeah, off the Javonte thing, I'll just say, yeah, he's not going to be 20-25 carry. He's not Derrick Henry, but he's the perfect complement with another back that with a little bit more speed, like a Jaden Blue. Like it would be I think those two together would be a great, thunder and lightning type combo backfield. And so that was good to see that because we didn't really know what we were going to see from Javonte Williams. He didn't play in the preseason. The stuff they did Thursday night is nothing like training camp. They can say training camp's physical and all that. That's fine. It's not like it is when you're in an actual game like that, going against another team. And so that was impressive to see. I have to be completely unbiased about this. You gotta, your head's in the sand if you don't think Jalen Carter not being out there didn't contribute to that. Like, yeah. I don't think they're running the same way with Jalen Carter out there. So that impacted it. I don't think that impacted my view on the team in a totality. Like they exceeded my expectations. Even with Carter not out there, I thought that the Eagles would blow the doors off of them. And so I thought it was pretty telling too, that the offensive line obviously performed well enough that on the very next day, the Eagles went out and signed Zadarius Smith. So they obviously didn't like what they saw from their defensive line. They didn't get any great pressure on Dak, a little bit here or there, no sacks. And so I think that does say a lot about the offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. I know Guyton didn't grade that great if you look at like Pro Football Focus or whatever. I know he had some pressures and things like that, but I just go back to him coming off that knee injury and really not thinking he'd even be ready for the opener. And he really only gets back on the practice field like a week before that game to go out there and play every single offensive snap. I thought that said a lot. I think he's going to be fine. I've never thought of him as being a bust. And same thing, Tyler Booker. There's going to be growing pains, but I think they got a good player there. Tyler Smith, we already know he's a good player. A little bit up and down with Terrence Steele, but I think he can be solid. And I think that Cooper Beebe, I know he had the highest of the Pro Football Focus grades on the offensive line. So they could be in good shape there. If you can keep those five together, healthy, playing the whole season together, then I think that the offensive line's in good shape. And if they're in good shape, then the run game should be okay. And then in terms of the pass game, I mean, I thought Dak was outstanding. I know the numbers weren't
outstanding.
Like, he's obviously put up some great numbers in games. So if you're just going to compare that to other games he's played, you're not going to say that this was some great game. But if you watch the game and really going back on it, I really only felt like he might have had maybe 3 bad throws the entire night. He had the one that he threw to George Pickens in the back of the end zone in the first half, where he threw it out of bounds instead of just giving Pickens a chance because he was one-on-one against Quinion. Yeah. I think if he gives Pickens a chance, if he doesn't come down with it, maybe he draws a flag. But he overthrew him there in the back corner of the end zone. It was on a 3rd down. That one was not a great throw. And then he had a couple of the seam balls he had one to Ferguson that he underthrew him a little bit. That one could have been a little bit better. And there's like maybe one other throw. Outside of that, I thought he was money on everything else, including the drops that CD had. The one where CD extends, that turns the ball over on downs on that 4th and 3. CD Lamb is catching that, I said 7 out of 10 times. Like, I know it's not an easy catch, but that is a catch that CD Lamb makes all the time. And then certainly the deep ball where kind of looked like Dak was throwing to Jalen Tolbert, but it hit CD obviously right in both hands, right in his stomach. Right. That's a ball he's going to catch 10 out of 10 times. That was crazy that he didn't come down with that. And you come down with one of those, this game's probably a Cowboys win. And so it was there for the taking. So you sit there and you're like, they exceeded expectations, but then there's also a part of you where like, man, there was a win right there. And you want to grab that when you have the chance, because the Eagles certainly weren't doing anything to really scare you there in the second half. They're scoring at shutoff too. And so there was a part of me where I was like, man, that game was there for the taking. And so not winning that game, I think, puts a little bit more pressure on this upcoming game. because you can't start out 0-2, especially against that Giants team that to me is no better than these Giants teams that we've seen for the last 4, 5, 6 years. I mean, we'll get into that later, but honestly, it's bigger than even the Giants. It was the way Daniel Jones played. It's just like there was just a lot of indictments on the New York Giants on Sunday. So anyway, but that's why you have to get that win. Now, if you had beaten the Eagles, obviously you'd be flying high, you'd be, feeling good, whatnot. You possibly could lose the Giants game and still be okay. But now it's like, you got to get that out of the way. You got to get a win out of the way for Brian Schottenheimer and the new coaching staff and the new pieces on this team. But all in all, the only thing I keep going back to is they exceeded my expectations.
Yes, indeed. And mine's as well. The team looked like they came up with a plan. And the plan
real quick,
was
one other thing that we didn't talk about, only 4 penalties. That surprised me for a season opener on a team that discipline has been some issues in years past. To only have 4 penalties, I thought that was impressive too.
That's shoddy, man.
And then Shotty even talked about the one that they did have, as far as out of the 4 that they shouldn't have had if they it was like a pre-snap penalty, something of that nature. So I think that they had a plan, John and Foots. They wanted to utilize CD, and CD just didn't execute. Everything that they looked at far as going up against the Eagles worked, but they just didn't execute for what the plan was. And on top of that, I'm still putting a little placeholder on Tyler Booker. I think he performed pretty well, but it wasn't against Jalen Carter. We didn't get a chance to see that. So now this week, I'm sitting there looking, him versus Dexter Lawrence. Can he do the same thing that he did last week? And if he do that again, I'm sitting here like, yeah, he's official. But outside of that, I think that the offense had a plan. The defense, at first, we was looking at this defense saying, hey, what was that? But they kind of made their necessary adjustments in the second half, and they look phenomenal. So let's see what they can do in week 2. But I liked everything that they brought to the table week 1.
So let me ask you this, Law. How did you feel about the defense? I think that people kind of jumped the gun in the first half of the defense. Did you feel like they got themselves together?
Yes, and no moral victories, by the way. I'm seeing someone in the chat saying moral victories. I'm not taking this as a moral victory. I look at it as a loss, but there are some things that we saw that we were not doing last year. And as far as this defense, being able to hold the Eagles down to what they were able to do as far as their star-studded wide receivers, man, that was phenomenal. So I like that plan of what Diggs were able to do, rotating in, even though I was not against it earlier this week. I like the ideology that Bland played pretty well, and as well as with Elam. Keep this in mind. If Jahan Dotson had CeeDee Lamb hands, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, because that 51-yard catch, we was like, God, dog, come on with it. That was the backbreaker. If without that, I mean, Jalen Hurts will only have a little over 110 yards. So,
you did a great job on Hurts. I think you did a good job of making him come off his first read. He started bailing out of the pocket in the second half.
Right.
You crashed down on it. You ran.
My biggest question on the defense is those linebackers. They weren't good enough, and I don't understand how Maris Leafau wasn't on the field more. I don't understand that. And we'll ask.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that now.
On Thursday, but he's not going to give anything very telling on it. But I don't understand why Leafau isn't on the field all the time. I don't get it, but whatever.
Him and Shamar James, I think that he need to get more tick. I know that he wasn't active in this game, but I think he should be active in this upcoming game. I think Clark. I think that he whiffed on a lot of things, and even though he had a great preseason, it was good to see him in off season and all of this. I want to see our youth out there, though, in my opinion.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because Kenneth Murray was he's trending down. One of the things that I wrote down on film, I got it. The runs in the first half, I saw the D-line actually did do their job. But Kenneth Murray, I see why. I wrote this in my notes. I see why he's on his third team. He runs himself blocked a lot.
Right.
Great athlete, can move in space, but the instincts, and he just didn't look very physical. One of the issues I had was, there was one rep early in the game because James Houston, I feel like, needs more reps as well.
That part.
But James Houston stacks the tackle, presses him, and Kenneth Murray takes this weird angle. Actually, no, Kenneth Murray kind of waited. He let the offensive lineman get on him next level. He's blocked. Whereas, like, at least Sanborn would knife through. I'm okay with you knifing or shooting a gap if you're going to miss, but don't catch. Don't get blocked. Don't run yourself blocked. It's just like I tell receivers, don't run yourself covered. And so Murray the instincts just aren't there. And it was very evident to see, like, in this defense, they aren't there. And I'm with you, John. Like, if they aren't, then get Maris Liufau in the game. Get somebody who, I think the issue that people have had with Maris Liufau is like, okay, he's really runs and he's hair on fire guy, but sometimes he's kind of out of control. Well, give me that. I don't want somebody catching, getting blocked. And again, first game, new defense, the whole nine. But, when I look at Murray, I'm just like, I don't know about this. Like, I can just tell you this isn't going to work, especially moving forward. You play some teams that run the ball. I mean, the Commanders ran the ball for 200 yards versus the Giants. So you play teams that run the ball, you're going to need linebackers to fill gaps. That was one of my issues. And then Elam. With Elam, I think it was a mixed bag because he did give up the big play, but he also tackled well. How did you guys feel about Kyrie Elam?
I thought that you go ahead, Joe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was okay. I didn't think he was great. He didn't look as good as he did in training camp, that's for sure. Yeah. But it was kind of surprising that Jalen Hurts really didn't throw deep at all. And then the one time he did, he threw a great pass. I mean, it was right on the money. And like you said, Dotson brought it in, which he easily could have dropped that. So that was, you would like to see a little bit better corner play there, but I don't think that's anywhere. I don't think Elam, to me, looked as bad as the linebackers looked. And so it's like, I mean, if you have Trayvon Diggs out there, Deron Bland with Elam, I don't think I'm not that concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the linebackers than I was about those guys play. I think the more Elam plays, the more confidence he'll get. I think he'll be fine. Yeah. But yeah, he's not on the level of concern for me that some of the other players are.
Yes, and just to switch off and stay on defense, by the way, is Fowler. I look at Dante Fowler as a guy, when I first saw him out there, I said, man, he looked like he's still playing for Washington, man. He's not like he's tuned in for the Cowboys. I thought that they should have moved on from him and put the youth in there earlier. And I'm going to look at these reps this game and to see how they're going to have the lineup. I think that Marshawn Nealon should have a tick ahead of Dante Fowler and move Dante Fowler only on pass rushing downs, because I thought that he was a liability out there on a lot of snaps. And I think Donovan Ezeraku should have more playing time, as well as James Houston. John, that penalty on Maris Liufau, was that his last snap in that game? When
I'm not sure.
They had that penalty?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But on the Nealon thing you were saying, you got to get more of him. I think Ezeraku, the more he plays, the more he'll produce.
He had a really good rush versus Lane Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good offensive line that
Ezeraku.
So I think he'll be fine there. The thing with Fowler for me is, I agree with you, Law, on the run game part, and also when you're facing a team that's got a quarterback that can get out of the pocket the way Hurts can. That can sometimes, I think Fowler will be great when you're playing more pocket passers types where he can just pin his ears back and just go after the quarterback. Because there were some times there where he kind of bit and then didn't keep contained on his side, and then it opened it up for a big play. So I agree with you on that. But I mean, he's a veteran. He needs to be out there. I do like that. I think that their edge rushers are going to be fine. I really do. If they stay healthy, if they start losing them like they did last year, then no. But they're obviously not Micah Parsons, but I think that they can be a good group. And that, especially when you guys mentioned James Houston too. I think Sam Williams, the more he plays, I think the better he'll be. He had a couple of plays where he was close. I thought, he could have had some huge plays and it didn't happen, but he's still coming back from that injury. He says he's completely healthy. So now just get yourself out there and get, the real game reps. And I think he'll make some game-changing plays. So I still feel strongly about the edge rushers. And then adding Kenny Clark in the mix in the middle with Solomon.
What did you think about Clark, John? What did you think about Clark?
I thought he played well. I know that his run defense grade wasn't as good as his pass rush grade. I know a lot of people, think that he's coming in only for the stop the run, but he's got some pass rush to him as well. Jerry Jones said this morning that he had the highest grade of any.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they obviously like what he did.
Sorry about this, John, not to cut you. I think people live and die by PFF's grading scale. I'm with Jerry Jones on this, and this isn't me being a homer. I thought he did more for you at D tackle than you, and that honestly, this probably is hard, right?
Oh, it's a low bar.
Low bar.
John, did I walk into that one?
Yeah.
Did I walk into that one, John?
Jerry, he instantly to me,
Yeah.
like I said, the minute they signed him, pairing him with Osa, that's the best they've been at defensive tackle in almost 15 years since Jay Ratliff was on the team.
10, yeah. So
we're absolutely for seeing defensive tackle play shooting hands, getting off blocks, shedding, disengaging. I saw him laterally move, man, and fill that hole, whereas we didn't see that, like John said, 5, 10, 15 years. We didn't see that. And I was like, that was a damn good play. And it's going to get better because why, Foots? The linebackers.
Yeah.
They put the youth out there when Overshawn, Amiris Learfowl, and Shamar James. When those 3 linebackers get out there, mixed in with guys that know how to shoot and fill holes, and what Kenny did, man, it's going to be great.
I completely agree. John, I just wanted your thoughts because I heard that nugget come out about he was the highest graded in their I guess in their meetings.
Yeah, Schottenheimer talked highly about him the other day too. I mean, it wasn't just a Jerry thing. Schottenheimer did too. Also, by the way, I know people think that that Jerry's just old and he just says stuff and it doesn't mean anything. Believe me, he's in all those meetings, he's gonna latch on to when they talk about who the grades are and stuff like that, because he also wants to. I mean, talk about actions speaking louder than words. He wants to be able to go on those radio interviews and be able to say stuff that so it looks like, hey, he knows everything that's going on. He's the general manager and the owner and everything like that. So he's not going to just make up stuff like that. He's going to that's why he sits in those meetings like that. So he also has stuff that he can share within reason. Sometimes he probably shares too much, but I don't think he was making that up. I completely believe that Dak and Kenny Clark had the 2 highest grades on the team. That would not surprise me at all. Yeah, if CeeDee Lamb doesn't have those drops, I mean, that would have been a monster night for him. He would have been probably number 1. I mean, just the opportunities he had on those 13 targets, and he made a lot of, he didn't have a bad game.
Right.
Because those are such crazy drops that you just never see from CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I saw him drop maybe 2 passes all at training camp. And I know it's a little bit different, obviously, in a game, but let's not act like he had to make these difficult catches where he's fighting guys off. I mean, these were right in his hands that he's going to catch, like I said, 99% of the time. That's what was so stunning, that if you get a chance to pick what the game is going to come down to, you pick that every single time,
Yeah. And that's crazy. I was watching a piece on Kyle Shanahan on how he got Deebo Samuels to stop dropping, even though he's in Washington now, is that they would put him on end around. So they put him in the backfield or what have you, so he can get that out of his mind. He had a very high drop rate. I think that CeeDee Lamb, and I know there's a stat out there since 2020, he's got 35 drops, putting him at top drops out of all wide receivers. I think that it got into his mind, Foots. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I'm glad you asked, Law. Your best player can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's starting to look like, everybody gives Dak this. I mean, CD's now had a few games where, mental farts, you're falling apart on the sideline. And in this game was just, you just can't have it. And you were paid to be a top performer. I think he owned it, which I really respected. He came right to you guys. I got to be better. I let the team down. That's great, CD. But now, you got 16 games. This stuff has to stop. 4 drops. And then on the one, I want to talk about this one play, John. I saw Brad Sham did a good film breakdown because and obviously we all know Tolbert. Because, on the screen, Tolbert's just standing around. I hate when players do that, when they look around and their teammates getting tackled. So we know what Tolbert is. But Tolbert also took a lot of blame for the one that CD dropped where he ran past Quinyon Mitchell. First of all, Philly fans, NFL world, stop with the Quinyon and Cooper DeJean stuff. They're good, but CeeDee Lamb ran past that defense all game. And so that's to John's point.
There's nothing about if you watch that game, like, yeah, CD dropped some passes he's supposed to catch. I'm going to tell you this right now. Dak Prescott was as confident as Dak Prescott.
Oh, my God,
he was
John.
not scared of that second.
Oh, John.
Say whatever you want about Dak coming up short in January, whatever like that. Coming up short in big moments, whatever. Dak Prescott was supremely confident in that game. And if you don't think that by where you're watching it, then you probably don't understand football.
Oh, he
was not wavering at all on any of those throws. Seam balls down the middle to Jake Ferguson, double covered. Yeah. He was not worried about what do they call him? Quinyanamo Bay.
That's why they laughed. Trust me. Let me tell you something. They were CD was running past, and it's so funny, John. On that play, Tolbert's up the seam, and CD. It looks like they're running either 4 verts or 2 verts, and it's cover 6.
Mm-hmm.
And for the life of me, I don't know if CD thought he was getting that football, but if you look at that play, and Brad Sham was right, it looked like that ball was going to Tolbert.
Yeah, and
CD is so freaking athletic. He just jumped in front of it, but he dropped it because they were both in the same area. I'm like, this can't be the play call or the design of the play. But yeah, CD just the one that really just stabbed me right here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Dak threw a rope over the middle of the field, John.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that one was a backbreaker because I think that was like 2nd or 3rd down. It would have extended the drive, and it just zoomed through CD's hands. And I said to myself, you can't do that, 88. Do you guys see this being an issue, or do we feel like CD just had a bad game?
Had one of those bad games, man. And I think I'm just going to chalk that up first game jitters. And I know he's been in the league for a minute. Wet ball. I mean, he saw what he was doing with the first 4 or 5 catches. He was already close to 100 yards, right? And some of his drops wasn't the most egregious, right? I mean, that Bravin Span 4 drop, I was like, Dak, how you put that right on his hands in between splitting those 2 defenders there. So in the Ferguson drop, I know that people call it a Madison ball, but if you look back at it, I think Ferg had enough time and the chance to catch that one in the end zone. So we had some pivotal drops, but I think this CD will bounce back in Dallas at home, perfect conditions, right? I don't think that Jerry will have the roof open. I think he'll be okay this week. He'll make it up.
Yeah, I don't think anything of it. He's still one of the top, 3, 4, 5 receivers in the league. There's nothing to happen in the game that changes my thoughts on that. But much like how I think the offensive line will get better the more they play together, I just think the longer that George Pickens is out there and playing in this offense and Dak continues to get more comfortable with him, I just don't see a lot of these 13, 14, 15 target games. I just think it's going to be more split between the 2 of them. Mm-hmm. And I honestly thought it would be that week 1, but then there's also that, what are they going off of? The Rams practice? I mean, they haven't played in the preseason together. So, there can be a big jump from week 1 to week 2, especially when you don't play at all in preseason for most of your offense. So yeah, I don't look at that as, I wouldn't be that alarmed. I think if that's one of your top concerns, then you're in pretty good shape. CD will respond to that. I don't know. It's kind of inexplainable, like some of them, because those are balls I've just seen him catch 100 times,
Let me ask you guys both. Let me ask both of you guys this, then we'll move on. Scale of 1 to 10, John and Law. How confident are you guys in this offense moving forward?
I looked at PFF and they got the Cowboys ranked like 12th in offense right now. Last year we wasn't nowhere close to that, Of course, we had Cooper for majority of those games for where our offense was ranked. I'm very confident that this will be a top 4 offense. And here's another thing. I think that Dak Prescott is the kind of caliber of quarterback that he wants to see you get open before he throw it to you. And this is just my crazy thinking, is that I think that he's going to develop a little bit more trust with George, and he's going to switch it over to just throwing the thing to George, because even when he's not open, he's open. And I think he's going to learn that from what George can do.
Yeah, I'd say out of 1 out of 10, if you tell me that they stay healthy, the offensive line, obviously Dak, CD, Pickens, I'm at probably an 8 in confidence out of
Me
10.
too. Eight as well with you.
Yeah. But it's just like if you have one injury here, one injury there, then yeah, it drops off a little bit because now other pieces have to step up. But now I don't even think that they were close to showing the entire bag in that game. I mean, Turpin was utilized a little bit more than he has been in the past, but I think there's still more to be used there. Ferguson, there's more you can get out of there. And like I said, Pickens, yeah, I definitely see. I think he had 4 targets. You can definitely throw the guy the ball 8 to 10 times in any given game, especially if he's singled up against any corner. Just throw it up to him. So no, I think the offense. I don't think anybody should be really that concerned about their offensive as long as they stay healthy.
Now, as far as individual players, John, I don't have not even a 2 confidence on Jalen Tolbert. I just think that
let's talk about it.
I think that the Cowboys need to re-examine this. I think Flournoy gave us a little bit more promise this offseason. I would put him in there if Mingo was healthier, once he get back.
I think that's the one who they wanted to do.
Yeah, because he's going to bring that physicality. I didn't like the way Tolbert lost on a few plays and then looked like he was lost in space. And I didn't like even the ideology of putting him on kickoff returns or punt returns, whatever that was. That was the time that you could have had Turpin there and he would have took it to his house because that particular formation, they was open. It was a lot of field open, but he looked like concrete blocks with cements on his feet. So it didn't look right to me. So I'm looking at it that he's the person out of all of the wide receivers I have the least confidence in.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Law. I think I kind of alluded to it. And, people fought me back with the 7 touchdowns and the whole 9. But it's clear that I think the way Brian Schottenheimer wants to play football, there's a few things that you have to be. 1 is physical.
Right.
2, you have to be an attacking type player, right? Mm-hmm. When you see Turpin get the ball, he's attacking. When you see CeeDee Lamb touch the football, run after the catch, attacking. You see George Pickens, who, people were kind of, look at the plays Pickens had. He wasn't running routes. Well, I don't know about all that. I mean, I feel like he's fine. I feel like he even had a big block. I didn't like the block where he got his hands around the neck of the defender, but I mean that's kind of bang bang. The devil got the angel got on his shoulder, John.
Penalties and Georgia players, but go on, sorry.
John, the angel got on his shoulder when he was about to grab Quinyon. So let me tell you, Quinyon is funny. George ran past him and Quinyon armbarred him. That should have been a penalty. Yeah, that's a pass interference. But they didn't call it. I don't know if they maybe felt it wasn't catchable or whatever the case. And maybe that was the play you were talking about, John, where Dak didn't really give him a chance. Yeah, they made it way. Yeah, facts, Law. But to me, I just want George is going to be really fun in this offense. Like, when it gets rolling, Law, it's going to roll because I just don't think there are teams like, okay, if you look at it, right?
Before you make that point, that last play to CeeDee Lamb, the one that he dove, I think that Pickens catches that.
I 1,000% agree, Law. So here's you start judging litmus test, right? And we haven't talked about this game. So people are like, oh, why are you talking? Well, here's the litmus test for me, right, Law? That was a good defense. We all agree. We can't say hindsight 2020 now. Yeah. Oh, they are good. The corner. No, going into that game, everybody had those corners as corners. Good D-line. Now, obviously, John, no Jalen Carter. So that does change everything. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you look at that defense and you look at Vic Fangio and you say, that's a good defense. Mm-hmm. Well, John said it. Not only did Dak not, I don't feel like Dak cared or was nervous, but just being honest, George, they left some meat on the bone as far as getting George targets and the looks, and I think that Dak would probably admit to that.
He definitely would. Yeah. They thought they would score more points than that, and especially that was before Jalen Carter got thrown out of the game. So, no, they definitely should have scored more. I mean, but the flip side is, like, because if you tell me, like, this Eagles team right now, you want to talk about confidence level, like, I'm way more confident in their offense than I am their defense just because of the players that are on the field. Like, they are just loaded. So for them to only put up 24 points against this Cowboys defense that we all agreed linebackers didn't play great. It's not like I thought the corners were solid. They didn't have any, like, I mean, they didn't take the ball away. Right. The Eagles didn't turn the ball over at all. And to not have more from Saquon Barkley, to only have, I think, 4 targets total between Devontae and AJ. I mean, that's embarrassing. I mean, we would be ripping them if we covered the Eagles. Seriously. I mean, that's inexcusable. That's what? That's got to be $60 million worth of receiving there.
Yeah.
You know, like that's crazy that there wasn't more of an impact there, especially with the way the game started. I thought for sure there'd be some big runs in the second half by Saquon Barkley. So, I mean, credit to Matt Eberflus, certainly, in his game plan to hold them to 24 is pretty wild, all things considered, especially after like the turnover. Maybe the rain delay helped a little bit right after the fumble to kind of maybe take away momentum or something like that. Yeah. I just thought for sure that the Eagles would walk out there and put up at least 30. And so, especially, and I thought it'd be even more than that the way the game started. You know, the way that Jalen just, he didn't even look like he was fazed by anything. You know, it seemed like, okay, if this isn't here, I'll just run and go get 15 yards if I need to. I'll just do a bunch of short passes. We'll just keep moving the chains, moving up and down the field. And then it switched in the second half. So give Eberflus, give that defensive line a lot of credit. They obviously stepped up. Eberflus mixed in some blitzes there. Like I said, I saw Diggs came on one. I think you'll see more of that. He'll mix up some stuff like that if they're not getting enough pressure. But that was a good offensive line that they have. So I wouldn't sit there and just judge that defensive front from the Cowboys off just one game like that. Like I think they're going to be fine up front.
Yeah, they should be. They should be. And just to add this in for another echo of Pickens on that slant play, I think we got some slant guy. Dak didn't even put it on him, and he was able to contort his body and still be able to get that ball and in the wetness of the ball and be able to get some multiple yards off of that.
That was big.
We got us a slant guy.
We got us a Michael Irvin. All right, guys, this last 8 minutes, John Machota, Law Nation. We're going to do the read, so we're going to talk about Sleeper and the plays for this week. We got a big game on actually a division game on Thursday night with the Commanders and the Packers, and we don't know who's playing in that game. I mean, maybe a former Cowboy used to play. But anyway, I mean, at the end of the day, John, if you want to make some plays, Sleeper has it. Let's talk about Sleeper, guys.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code HMA. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Sleeper, thank you for sponsoring this channel. We appreciate Sleeper. I want to ask you guys this, and we'll talk about the Giants on Thursday show. It's been an amazing show. Almost 700 people in here, in and out. So it's been good stuff. Yeah. Also, make sure you guys are leaving us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Here we go. John, give me one name you need to see more from. I kind of said this. I want to, and it's early, right? I want to preface this, Machota. It's early, but I still need to see more from this person. Law, you still need to see more from that person. John, who you got?
Yeah, that's tough because I really thought the offensive line kind of exceeded expectations, so I don't really have anybody on the offensive line. You guys already talked about Jalen Tolbert. I don't think that was one of his best games. He could have certainly played better. Probably Dante Fowler. I just think as a vet.
Good one, John. Good one.
I think as a vet, I expected a little bit more out of him, especially in a division game. He's used to going against the Eagles. So I think he'll bounce back from that. I don't know if he'll be double-digit sack guy that he was last year, but I think he'll get pretty close to it. I think he's going to be pretty productive. So I would put Dante up there. And like I said, it really, to me, it's just, and then the linebackers. I thought the linebackers should have been better. Early on, I should say that too. I don't know that they were as bad in the second half, but early on, I just thought that they really allowed Jalen to kind of do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
Law?
I'll say the linebackers groups, but primarily Mears Learfowl. I need to see more from him. I think coaching staff need to get more than 6 snaps. That's diabolical is what kids say these days, right? So at least give him double-digit sacks. I mean, stats for snaps. I can't talk tonight. And on offense, I need to see more from Javonte. I need for him to marry up with what he did last week for this week. more than 15 carries if he's going to be the bell cow. And of course, if they will activate Jadon Blue, that would be a plus for us to at least see the young guy that we drafted early in these drafts. So those are the three guys that I need to see more from.
Johnny,
and less
I had it written down. See if you can see my screen.
CD.
Need to see more, man. You won't find a bigger CD Lamb supporter than me. I think he could be the best. I literally think he could be the best receiver in the league. Yeah. But you can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do what you did. It's inexcusable. It's no excuse. You are one of those guys. I need to see more from CD Lamb. I also agree
just
with
think
Law
if normal
Nation.
CD shows up.
Yeah.
Just no.
They win the game. He's got 200 yards receiving. It would be one of the biggest stories in the NFL. And actually thinking about it too, thinking about after the game, I was going to tell you guys, I mean, I've probably covered, I don't know, maybe 150 Cowboys games, 200 Cowboys games. I don't know. One of the easiest that ever came down to, because sometimes you got to like talk with editors and stuff about like story angles and stuff like that. I was like, I don't need to talk about anything. I'm writing about CD Lamb. Like there was not even, I mean, I know, again, I'm at The Athletic. We obviously have an Eagles writer that was going to be touching a lot more on the Jalen Carter spitting thing and that. I could feed some quotes over from Dak and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that wasn't a big story. It obviously was. But in terms of the win-loss, I don't think there was any bigger story than CD Lamb because that's exactly who you want. That is a guy that was killing it. He was by far their best player in training camp. He's a guy that has been taking on more leadership. He just recently got named a team captain. Like that had to kill him that he played. That he was responsible for some of that, you know. And he did. He took responsibility for it after the game. Obviously, you guys probably heard how he was in the facility the next day on the jugs machine by himself and all that. I mean, that had to bother him a lot because his career has continued to ascend every single year. And there's no reason to think that won't happen, continue this year. But I mean, that is just like, he would have been the number one person on my list if you were like, okay, well, who definitely won't blow this game? Like, who will definitely not screw this up? I'm like, oh, yeah, give me Lamb,
Yeah, NFL is just so funny like that. Yeah, John, he has to. I think Law saying Javonte Williams is big, John, because so many people wrote Williams off. Not saying anybody on this chat, but we had questions, right? Does he have pop? Does he have burst? Right? Does he? And at the end of the day, while he's not a speed guy, he's an attitude runner. Right? I think that,
which is what you need, because you don't need, like, you would love to have a great, like, Saquon Barkley. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you wouldn't. You obviously would love that. You'd love to have 2016 Ezekiel Elliott. No doubt about that. But with the way this team's structured, with the receivers and the way teams are going to defend them with the safeties back, like, as long as you can get those tough yards and then get the stuff down in the red zone, the stuff that, like, we always say, like, you're able to run the ball when everybody knows that you're going to run the ball. That's the key stuff. And obviously his 2 touchdowns were an example of it. That's what you need from him. You don't necessarily need the huge plays. If you get him, that's great. But as long as he can be that guy that when he gets hit after 3 yards, those are still 4 or 5 yard carries, Yeah.
And then honorable mention, I would like to see what the world happened to Kevontae Turpin in the second half. They just shy away from him. I need for him to get more touches, more and more looks or what have you. If we need to get things going. I thought that he was great as a change of pace person in the backfield. I think that the Cowboys may revisit that. So that's another person we need to see more from.
Well, I know I'll say this. I remember they kept saying, and Shotty kept saying this, John, that cracks at bat. Like, they didn't have enough opportunities. It was, they didn't really had a ball and they were kind of chasing. So I would like to see them play with a lead and he can get into that call sheet. And I think that's where Shotty can really cook. I'll tell you this. Give me more Brian Schottenheimer calling on this offense.
Yeah, like, that was good. Yeah.
I mean, John, have you seen a better intro? Like, Super Bowl champs walk right down the field, score.
Twice too. That's the other part. We scored on back-to-back drives.
And if you don't fumble, this may be a different conversation. Like, they punched on these guys. And so that's what led me to say, okay, I watched a lot of football this weekend, John Law. I think this is a playoff team. Now, barring injury, barring, the toxicity, but I think that this team is banded together. I think Shotty is the unquestioned leader. And I like I said, what he's saying at the podium, but how he's calling the offense. He's not playing scared. He's attacking. You know, I watched Miami. I watched some of these offensive coordinators. I watched Ben Johnson. And this is a credit to the Cowboys for their plan, John. Build the offensive line, the interior. Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker, and even the Tyler Guyton pick is starting to look like, okay, maybe year 2 he's grown. This offensive line, now I can call what I want to call. Now I can take these deep shots. Because as much as I like Ben Johnson, I will give him this, right? I will give him this, Machota. He doesn't have the line to do what he did in Detroit. He just doesn't. And now you don't have a run game to do what you did. It's tough. You get to get some of these other places. You look at the team we're about to play, the Giants. I know people are going to crap on Russell Wilson, rightfully so, whatever, cool. Their line is awful, John. I watched that game from start to finish. John Michael Smith's awful. The backup to Andrew Thomas, awful. So Dayball can't call what he wants to call. You could throw Jackson Dart in there, whatever. So to me, credit to Brian Schottenheimer. Give me more of him calling this offense, fellas, because I'm all in. You know, and I know that was a little rant. I guess we'll have that rant to close the show. Hey, you know what, John? Let's do this. Let's get to this Mondo super chat. 10 apiece from Sadiq and Charles. We won't split the 10. We'll just we'll put it into we'll put it into to something good, Sadiq. Maybe we'll get a sandwich or something. Thank you, Sadiq.
Yes, indeed. Split it. Yeah, give me a Salisbury steak, man, with that one.
I thought I saw another super up in here, Law. I don't know. Oh, here we go. TG and KO, did y'all see that? Yeah, Tyler Guyton played really good. Yes.
Let's give Tyler Guyton his flowers, man. I've been giving TG a hard time. He did great this past game. And now let's see if he can continue to do those great things in this game. Yeah. We'll
leave with this. I'll let John answer this one. Is Overshown expected to run this year and win? I'm sorry if I missed this. I love your guys' work. Thank you. We love you. We also saw a comment that said, you guys are my family. I appreciated that comment. John, close us out with this one.
Yeah. Initially, in the off season, the projection would be like maybe he comes back in like late October, November. But I mean, he's been out on the practice field working on the side, doing a lot of the same stuff that, Trayvon Diggs was doing before he was coming back, a lot of the cord work and things like that. So he looks good. He looks like he's ready to come back at any time, but we haven't been given any updates on that. So it's probably at least another month. But yeah, I thought about him a lot in that game because, man, the impact he would have had, against really the way that offense was playing from Philadelphia. I think he would have had some game-changing type plays throughout. And so, yeah, he's definitely coming back this year. If you just saw him, I'm telling you, if you guys just saw him on the cords and stuff he does on the side, you'd be like, can he play Sunday? You wouldn't, there's nothing about him that looks like he's, favoring the knee or anything like that. He looks like he's ready to return. I think the thing is that he's had these multiple knee issues, and so they're going to be extra cautious with him. Obviously, he's a big part of their future, but he'll definitely be back. I just think it's going to be more mid-season type thing. But then again, I thought Trayvon Diggs wouldn't be back till week 3 or 4, and he was back for the opener. So maybe it's another guy with speedy recovery.
Yes, indeed. And we saw, and John, you recorded it, when that whole pick 6 happened in practice or in Oxnard. We know he can run. We know he can run. He got speed, right? We need to know if he can take a hit on that leg or can he hit. So those are the two things that we don't know.
And I'll tell you what, that is going to be the last guy that when they, when sometimes guys come back from a major injury, I know I would be like this, where you're kind of like tentative because you're just like, man, I don't want this thing to go again. I can't do another 8 months of rehab after the surgery and all that. I don't get that sense from him at all. Like, I think he's going to be Tasmanian devil as soon as he gets right back out there. Like, I don't think there's going to be any favoring of anything. Like, I think he's going to be ready to go. I think like he is going to be the guy that I feel like the training staff is going to be like, no, it's not quite ready yet. Where he's going to be like, no, I want to be out there. I want to go now. So I don't think it's going to be, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a November thing now. I think he'll come back before then. So they can certainly
let me just say this, John. If next week game was a playoff game or SB game, he's in there, I believe. He's doing the TO.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Because I think that he can move around so quickly that they would say, man, just rip the Band-Aid off, put them out there.
Yeah. I mean, in those type of situations, yeah, I guess you never really know if it's a one game, the season's on the line. Sure.
Yeah. Hey guys, wasn't a monster show? Monster show. Covered a lot today. Got to a lot of stuff. John Machota, man, thank you for giving us everything on the ground. Sky, we miss you. We love you. Get back, bro. And Law Nation, doing what you do best, man. Coming up with some amazing topics and just some thoughts. It's Foots. As always, we thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. Get the likes up, guys. Smash the like button. There is no Cowboys podcast better than this. We love you all. We love you all. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.